And spawning over here in the bottom left position, ladies and gentlemen, as the blue Zerg player this time, so it looks like we are switching up the colors. No big deal at all. Representing Invictus Gaming, he's had a bit of a rough time of the tournament so far after being seeded into winners round 4, losing 2-0 to Lenok, and now on the verge of elimination. Can he do it? Can he come back? It is XiGua.
And up here in the top right corner of Cloud Kingdom, we do have Startail Squirtle as our red Protoss, currently up 1 game over his opponent.
Now, that last game was a little bit weird, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It was a little bit weird because they were just Zerglings and Mutalisks the entire game. We didn't really, we didn't see an infestation pit go down from XiGua. Sure. He really wanted to make the Lings work. He really wanted to make the Mutas, unstoppable force, just getting lots and lots of numbers. And I can understand where he's coming from. I don't think people should necessarily look at that and go, wow, that was a horrible unit composition, that was just really bad, XiGua's going to get steamrolled. Because at the end of the day, if he was able to do a decent amount of damage with those early Lings that we saw, we could see what his intentions were. It wasn't like it was just completely blind and there was no point to it. The Muta harass was to try and delay Squirtle. The early Lings were to try and deny a third base and also to try and get into the natural in the main. And had XiGua succeeded in any of those things, Squirtle might have had a tough time. Yeah. But Squirtle's defense was just so unbelievably good that XiGua couldn't get a word in edgeways. So he had a strategy mapped out, and Squirtle just completely and utterly shut it down. And yes, that technically makes a strategy bad, but that's because he's playing against such a good player. This is stuff that, frankly, a lot of players that maybe aren't quite up to Squirtle's caliber would have fallen to.
Yeah, I really like what you said about him just kind of delaying it, but Squirtle's defensive composition was just beautiful, man. He got remember that Colossi came out just in time to help him defend against some of the pressure, and then he transitioned straight into Archons. He just had all this AoE going in his direction, and I like what you said. I mean, if he would have got a couple of Zerglings by, if he was able to just do a little bit of damage, it may have been a completely different story.
Mate, Squirtle used brick wall. It's super effective.
Oh, there it is.
True story.
True story, true.
So guys, we are now here with a little bit more of a normal game going on here on Cloud Kingdom. We actually see the Forge going down in the main base as well. And that is going to be followed up by that wall at the natural. We're going to be seeing the second base go down very quickly for Startail Squirtle here. And XiGua, is he going to be going for... Oh, wow, he has a couple Lings moving out across the map, but only 4. Is he going for a fast third base? I suspect he will be.
Yep, there's the drone actually at about the 4-minute mark, so it looks like the third base is going to be up and running here in just a moment. And the cannon should finish in time for these 4 Zerglings to not be able to do a whole lot. There's actually two probes here that should actually complete the full wall off, and there we go. Yeah, both the hatcheries have been started, and so now the Overlord's going to get in really, really good position for XiGua, so he has some good eyes on his opponent.
So we're going to have a little bit of downtime here, guys, as we go into a very, very normal PvZ. Now, for those of you who might be watching competitive StarCraft for the first time here, or checking out IPL, maybe you're here primarily for League of Legends or Shoot Mania, and you just want to be checking out what the StarCraft stream has to offer. This is a pretty typical PvZ opening. You see Zerg players, of course, are potentially able to get a lot of aggression done early game, but when they see that a Forge and a Nexus has gone down for our Protoss, and that a cannon's going up as well, the Protoss has used a lot of resources in static defense early on in the game, and that means that he can't get too many units out very quickly. So Zergs tend to use that opportunity to grab that third base, and even if he does need to defend, the additional larvae spawned from the third hatchery are going to come in very useful because he can make units out of that as well. So this is why this is a quote-unquote very, very typical Protoss versus Zerg opening.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And a Squirtle just actually getting perfect vision of the third base, which is just beautiful. I mean, he actually was able to run the probe over there completely, and behind this, actually dropping a robotics facility. What's really cool is in the first game we saw Squirtle just kind of open with a gate. He didn't even actually get a Forge till he wanted to start aiming towards upgrades, but he just defended primarily with gateway units so he could tech just a little bit quicker. In this game, switching it up, just going for a little bit of Forged static defense.
Yeah, so things looking fairly normal at the moment. We do actually have the gas geysers now being taken at a fairly normal time by XiGua. He's not taking all of his gases, I think. There's a second gas is natural that he has. Oh, no, he has taken both. Okay, cool. So that was the neutral supply depot there. And he's only taken 2, though. He hasn't taken any in his main base at the moment. So let's see what he goes up to there.
Looks like the Overlord was killed off in the main of Squirtle. Actually did get a little bit decent information. Saw the Forge, saw the gas geysers, but did not actually get the chance to see the extra 2 gateways. And our I'm wondering if Squirtle might line himself up for an immortal timing.
Have to.
It's a good map for it.
Well, it's entirely possible. The natural to natural distance, of course, here on Cloud Kingdom is actually pretty short, to be honest. It's not the longest distance you've ever seen. So that kind of two-base timing here does tend to work quite well. Let's see if that's what Squirtle's going to be going for. He's adding another 3 gateways now, and gets more Immortals coming out, and he is queuing them up at this point. So I think you're right, J-Maro. This could be a Sentry Immortal Soul Push 1-1-1.
Soul Push, I like that. That's a new name for it. And yeah, there's the 4th gas geyser taken by Squirtle, and XiGua's actually going to see this. I was going to see it complete around the same time, and I'm sure he's familiar with this build by now. I mean, it's so prominent, and so it looks like right now we do have a layer coming out from XiGua. He does have his Roach Warren and Evolution Chamber down. Nothing's being researched by the Evolution Chamber. You know, it's of course nice to have just in case of Warp Prism play, possibly picking off you know, Stargate play as well.
He's a little bit gas starved at the moment, actually. I mean, we typically see that sort of timing, sort of Zergs go straight up to 4 gas.
Sure.
But well, I guess a lot of the time, I shouldn't say always, but he's having a little bit difficulty. He had to wait till he researched Glial Reconstitution, and he had to wait to start his +1 as well, did XiGua. So arguably, there's a case for saying he should have taken his 4th gas a little bit earlier. He is getting all of them down and underway now, and he has a good map presence. So if Squirtle decides to push out soon with this Sentry Immortal, which it looks like he's about to do, we need to start seeing a little bit of force field baiting coming out from these Lings and Roaches. XiGua now around the 3rd base of Squirtle. Can he wrap himself around?
Yep, this is going to be really rough. I mean, this timing is going to be, you know, Squirtle known for doing very, very precise timing on the mark. He's currently moving out with right around 10 sentries, looks like, along with the 3 Immortals heading straight to the 3rd. And, you know, of course, the Overlord did see everything walk by. Now he sees the Warp Prism, and I'm sure XiGua knows what's going on. There's 5 Roaches in production and 10 Zerglings. But, man, I don't know. Roach speed is not even close to being done. He's still got 40 seconds
How
left.
much energy's on those sentries, though? 0 force fields were baited out of them, so they just have a good amount of energy, and that's really the problem here. Look, immediately abandoning the 3rd base, and if Squirtle's smarter, he will not stop to kill the 3rd hatch. Great stuff there. Squirtle going straight for the natural expansion. Oh my goodness. I've never seen a Roach like one-shotted in quite that much blood and gore. And here we go, Guardian Shield, and now here come the force fields. Admittedly not the best. He might have been able to try 1 or 2 more units, but it's going to be good enough to try and stop the Spine Crawlers from doing any additional damage. Great stuff there coming out from Squirtle. More Spine Crawlers keeping the rest of the army out. The sentries, though, are taking a pounding from the Spines, but they are the only thing that's separating Squirtle from the soft, fleshy underbelly of this Zerg natural expansion.
I feel like the Spine Crawlers are actually working against him a little bit with the Force Seals in combination, preventing the Roaches from being able to move at all. And here comes everything together, but they're actually going to move right into a choke point, and Squirtle's just going to block everything off, hopefully. But actually, no, the drones do move in. They're going to get a full surround here. Now the Roaches are target firing, but look at that Immortal Micro with the shuttle down to 10 HP. One of the Immortals looks like it's dead, but it's actually up in the shuttle once again. And XiGua looks like he may actually hold. The Warp Prism gets targeted down by the Queens.
Oh my god,
flying in, and XiGua holds Squirtle down to 33 supply.
XiGua! Boom!
You know what we didn't notice? Those Zerglings entered the natural of Squirtle and took out his natural.
That was so good coming out of XiGua. I saw that on the mini-map, like towards the end there, but still.